Every day, over 100,000 flights take off around the world. Most land safely, but sometimes one just disappears. Rehan, Flight 702 was supposed to be a routine journey. It became an unsolved mystery. No distress signal, no warning, just one chilling line from the cockpit voice recorder. We are not in control anymore. Was it a system failure, a hijacking, or something no one dares to explain? This is the story of a flight that vanished without a trace. It was the morning of November 6th, 2021, a domestic route from Karachi to Islamabad. Rehan Air Flight 702. The aircraft, a twin-engine Rehan jet RJ-10. Crew, 2 pilots, 3 flight attendants. Passengers, 62. Captain Rehan Ahmed was at the controls. 12 years of flying experience. Calm, composed, respected. Beside him sat First Officer Zara Qureshi, young, sharp, and focused. For her, this was her 97th flight. For both, it was just another day above the clouds. The skies were clear, winds were calm. The plane departed on time, 9:42 a.m. What happened next was anything but routine. 28 minutes after takeoff, ATC Karachi logged an unusual turn. Flight 702 veered northeast, away from its intended corridor. Air traffic control contacted the crew. No response. They tried again. Nothing. Back in the cockpit, the flight recorder picked up a quiet exchange. Captain Rehan, Zara, check the compass. This isn't right. First Officer Zara, altitude is stable, but heading's drifting. Wait, is this the magnetic deviation again? Captain, no, this feels different. Seconds later, something strange was recorded, a faint static noise. Then a voice, not one of the crew, whispered, "It's not your plane anymore." Then silence. At 10:17 a.m., Rehan Flight 702 vanished from radar. No mayday call, no transponder code, just gone. What followed was chaos at air traffic control. Emergency calls went out to nearby towers. Military radars were activated. No sightings, nothing. The last known location, over the salt train, northern Punjab. Search and rescue teams were dispatched. Hours passed. Then, a report from a shepherd. A crash site spotted in a deep mountain valley. When investigators reached the site, what they found was baffling. The aircraft had crash landed, but not violently. No signs of fire, no explosion. Landing gear was down. Flaps were extended. The cockpit was sealed from the inside. But there was no one inside. No bodies, no blood, no crew, no passengers. It was as if the plane had landed itself, and everyone vanished into thin air. And yet, one thing remained. The black box was intact. The contents of the cockpit voice recorder would haunt investigators. The final 4 minutes of audio. Captain Rehan, what the hell is that light outside the left wing? First Officer Zara, I'm getting interference. Instruments are frozen. Captain, control's gone. We're not flying this anymore. Then a voice, not recognized by any crew database, says, "You've crossed the boundary. Return is not permitted." Then First Officer Zara whispering, "He's inside now." And finally, complete silence. No sound of impact, no alarms, just static. The investigation led nowhere. Radar logs showed abnormal GPS data. The flight had momentarily entered a frequency zone, one used only by military satellites. Some believe the plane was intercepted by an experimental defense system. Others believe it was hacked, remotely controlled, electronically hijacked. But then came a more chilling theory, that the flight entered a blind air corridor. a zone where navigation systems are distorted and from which no signal can escape. Of the 67 souls on board, none were ever found. No one ever returned. Today, in aviation records, Flight 702 is listed as a crash caused by unknown factors, but investigators, pilots, and families still ask, how does a plane land without a pilot? How does a crew vanish without a trace? And what was the final call that no one could explain? Maybe some flights were never meant to land. Subscribe for more stories from the sky.